This is Chester and he's a 7-month-old Chow Chow. This breed needs grooming regularly as they have a lot of hair. It's important to brush out their undercoat as they can get matted, and it also helps to regulate their body temperature. I gave him a double shampoo in the bath followed by a conditioner, and then it was time to get him dry. Once he was dry, it was time for lots and lots of brushing. I mainly used my slicker brush and rake, and then when he was all brushed through, I started to use my thinning scissors just to give him a tidy up. I then clipped his nails and used my 30 blade to take out all of the hair in between his paw pads. I cleaned his ears and then gave him a quick hygiene clip, and he was all done. Chester was one of my favourite grooms yet. Look how fluffy he looks. I just loved him so much. This is Margot and she's a 16-week-old Pouchon. She came in today for a wash and blow dry, which was her second puppy package session. I can't get over how well behaved she was, and she wasn't fazed by anything. Look how chilled she is here. Once she was dry, I gave her a good brush and then combed through her coat afterwards. This is really important as it gets rid of any little knots that were left. I then trimmed round her eyes and tidied her feet up too with some scissors. She was so well behaved and she let me cut her nails, and then I used my mini clippers to cut out the hair in her paw pads. I then gave her a spray of fragrance and she was all ready to go. Margot's first ever wash and blow dry completed.
This is a reminder for my fellow groomers. No matter how busy we get, take those few extra minutes with your clients. We never know when the last groom will be. Today I found out Bear passed away. Even though I was just his groomer, this hurts so damn much. I'll miss you, Bear.
I think my groomer gave me the wrong dog.
So this is Miss Dixie, and I normally don't get to do corgis, but I had a last minute cancellation, so I got to do her. This was her first time at the salon with us, and she was fabulous. Corgis here get a de-shedding shampoo and conditioner, and then I use a scrub brush that is designed for dogs. It's super gentle to help kind of work that into her skin and coat. Because it was her first time, I let her sniff the dryer just to make sure that she was comfortable, and then I spritzed her with a leave-in conditioner. Now, typically corgis aren't the best for their nail trims, but she actually did very well, just a little wiggly, but nothing that I couldn't handle. If you have a corgi, I recommend using a slicker brush, a comb, and a zoom groom. I don't recommend using furminator brushes on any breed. They're actually pretty terrible for your dog's coat, and if you have one, just throw it away. But Dixie's done. What breed should I do next?
This is Coda. He is a golden doodle. As you can see, I am checking his coat with my greyhound comb, and even with the wider teeth on my comb, it is not easily going through his coat. So in order to remove the hair as comfortably as possible, I have to go a little bit shorter than what the owner originally requested. I did go over this at check-in, that way she was fully prepared as to how he was going to look when he was going home, and she was completely fine with that. We do go over expectations in depth and what we are going to do at check-in every time any dog comes in. That way the owner is just fully aware of what's going on. And here I am shaving him down with my Andis clipper and a 4-blade. Because he's not completely pelted, I was able to use a slightly longer blade. That way he still has a tiny bit of fluff, but it's getting off all those tangles very easily, so it's very comfortable for him to go through this process. Our main concern is always to make it as comfortable as possible for the pet. Our concern is always the health and well-being of the animal above all else. And as you can see, he still has a tiny bit of fluff left, so he's super, super cute. And I always recommend a slicker brush and a greyhound comb for doodles.
Here's how to trim dark nails on a dog. You're gonna look at the nail and you'll notice there's this curl, and right where the curl starts to straighten out, that's where you wanna trim at. That's usually where their quick is. Otherwise, you can just trim a little bit at a time until you notice that dark center. That will be their quick. And just make sure you're doing whatever you're comfortable with, guys. If you have too much anxiety, it kind of makes the dogs anxious too. And remember, that's what us groomers are here for, to help you. And you're gonna notice I'm just trimming right where that curl starts to straighten out. And if you look right in the center there, that darkness, that's the quick. That's where you want to stop. And you can use a Dremel to help smooth in and get it a little bit shorter, but this isn't necessary. You can walk them on the pavement to help wear their nails down a little more. And look at the difference. Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Kevin before. All clean. Drying time. Brush out. Tidy. All done.
Want to learn how your dog's coat can go from this to this? It's all achieved through line brushing. This baby's name is Baudelaire, and you can really see those tangles when I blow some air through his coat. What I'll be using is a simple greyhound comb, my Chris Christensen slicker brush, but any brush that has pins similar to this brush will do. This is called a mat splitter, and the teeth are sawed and razor sharp, so extreme caution when using this. And don't forget any detangling spray. Before I start brushing, I just give a light mist to the coat. This is proper brushing technique. Use a full pat of the brush, but don't do this. This can poke your dog. With your other hand, push the coat up in the opposite direction that it usually grows. The line where the pushback hair and the non-pushback hair meets, that's where you're gonna brush. Do this going all the way up the hair. After you do this though, you need to use a fine-tooth comb. Brush the comb down to the skin, and this will catch any tangles you may have missed. When line brushing a dog, I tend to do the legs first, then underneath the body, then the top of the body, head, tail, so on. Basically working my way up the dog. If you give your dog a good line brushing, then you only really have to do it every few days. I also find it doesn't hurt the dogs as much if I line brush. Now this was a super short video, so make sure to let me know if you guys have any questions.
I got this question on one of my doodle videos a while back. Do I have any doodles that aren't matted? And the answer is yes. Sometimes I actually do have doodles that are not matted. This is Wheezy. She comes to see me about once a month, so she's usually not matted. Her owners want to grow out her hair for the winter, so today she's in to see me for just a good bath and cleanup. I've made a video before explaining how to brush your doodle, and I have some brushes and combs linked in my bio. I like to keep my doodle clients on a regular 4 to 6 week schedule, even if it's just for a bath. Wait until the end to see her before and after picture to see what a good bath and brush out can do, especially for a doodle. Let me know what you think about Wheezy in the comments.
Yo, bro, who got you smiling like that? Like,
kill the lights, so baby, close your eyes. The way you're looking at me, you got me mesmerized. Something I can't escape, feel like I'm lost in space.
that's how you do it, shit, like.
This is Archie and he's a 13-week-old cockapoo. His owner found me on TikTok and booked him in for a wash and blow dry. I can't believe how well he did considering he's only 13 weeks old. Once I'd given him a bath, I took him over to the table to dry him with my blaster. The rabbits ended up being a really good distraction, even though they were up to no good. Close your eyes, Archie. Ah, that's more like it. A final blast with the dryer, and then I brushed and combed through his coat. I had to keep moving his nose out the way while I was trimming around his feet. I then trimmed around his eyes with some thinning scissors, and then I used my mini clippers to trim out all of the hair between his paw pads. The Mohican at the end wasn't intended, but look how cute he looks. He's back in 3 weeks' time for his big boy haircut, and I can't wait to see him.
The shed hack, use a child playpen cover to keep all the hair contained.
I'll be fucked up if you can't be right, yeah. I do the same thing, I told you that I never would. I told you I changed, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need
This senior wiener suffers from a little separation anxiety, which is why she's shaking so much. After a few hugs and some encouraging words, she settles down and is able to enjoy her potty care. She absolutely loves getting warm soapy baths, and if you're wondering what's going on with her tongue, she has no teeth and has a very hard time keeping it in her mouth. I personally find it adorable. She's enjoying her best life as I dry her with the high velocity dryer. I trim her very fuzzy feet. I use my deshedding rake to get out her loose fur. I give her a spritz of baby powder cologne. And this sweet girl's done and ready to go back to the comfort of her owner's lap.
I asked PetSmart Grooming for a trim.
And it went like
Pain.
Do you know how many times we have heard a pet parent say they stopped going to their last groomers because they told them their dog bites? Their first words usually are, "My dog does not bite. He's the sweetest dog on the planet. He would never hurt a fly." But there is some stuff the dogs doesn't like and can be aggressive for. At the end of the day, your pet is an animal and will have the tendency to defend itself. Most pet owners, when we tell them their dog bites, majority of them will say they need to see proof. Half the time, we put the dog on the table to show them that the dog bites. Then they say, "Oh, it's because you're hurting him. That's why he bites. My dog would never do that." We're trying to make you aware of what your pet hates so you can let others know.
This is Baby, and she's a Bernese Mountain Dog. Some of you might have noticed that I'm working in a different salon now, which means this is the first time I'm washing a dog this size in a tub, and it was kind of nice. I have all these nice new shampoos to use that are such high quality, and I'm using the brightening shampoo in the white spots just to make sure she's getting extra clean and brightened there. And you really want to make sure you scrub in between the paws too when you're giving her a bath, because that is a really dirty spot. Next, I'm going to follow up with conditioner, which really hydrates this coat and makes it super soft. I'm going to brush the teeth while it sits, and then I'm just going to rinse it out slowly and make sure she's comfortable. Once she's completely rinsed, I'm going to dry her, and yes, on a table, not the floor. And then I'm going to give her a good brush out to make sure she doesn't have any tangles, and just like that, we're done, and we can't forget the poop.
This little floof is a Yorkie Poodle mix and is getting a full groom. I start off by completely brushing out all of his tangles and little mats. Then I Dremel his nails. He has to wear a naughty mask anytime I touch his feet because sometimes he bites. Then he's getting a nice warm soapy bath. Then I towel dry him, fluff dry him, comb everything out. I use an O-comb on his body. I do a 10 under his eyes, trim his paw pads, scissor his legs and feet, and again I'm touching his feet so he has to wear the naughty mask, scissor his face and head, give him his spritz, and wait for it. You're welcome.
This little guy came in to see me today to start over. He was recently rescued, so today we're going to give him a new haircut for his new family. I am shaving him all over with a number 10 blade. He was not a fan of it on his face, but he got a lot better by the end. Usually when dogs come in looking like this, by the end of their groom, they're so grateful. Because his matting was so tight, we did give him a light sedation. I work at a vet clinic, so that is safe to do. After he got used to me and we bonded a little bit, he was way better for me to do his face again. I gave him lots of breaks. I don't think there's anything a nice warm bath can't fix. Take a second to admire how sweet his little face is.
This is Pretzel. She's 7 months old and she's getting her very first haircut today. The way she looks at me. Bath burrito. Puppy coats are so satisfying to blow dry, so soft and fluffy, and mom didn't leave a single tangle for me. She did so great for paw cleanups and the whole haircut. I can't believe she's only 7 months. Such a good girl. She even let me handle her face without even a wiggle. I am in love with this dog. Excited to continue grooming her in the future. Thank you, Pretzel.
This is Hank. He's a golden retriever, and his owner likes to tell us that sometimes Hank can be a little bit weird. I bathed him in our de-shedding shampoo, and then I rinsed him off. He gets on the table and he forgets that he knows how to stand. As the table goes up, he gets very concerned and begins to slide. Then he realizes he does know how to stand and we fully blow dry him. He doesn't like it much, so he faces the wall. After that, I brush him with my coral brush and my undercoat rake. I clip his nails and I tidy up his very hairy paws. I shave out his paw pads, and then I do some doggy detailing. I tidied up his chest using my seat comb, and then I rounded up his ears. I do some blending, spray him in our jelly bean cologne, and Hank is all finished, looking handsome. We love his weirdness. It takes a special person who walks into the shelter and not only chooses a dog that has a history of being abused, but will also require medical treatment for the duration of their life due to an ongoing health problem. This is Charlie, and he's an 8-year-old Springer Spaniel mix. This is his first ever professional grooming appointment, and due to his past, his owner was unsure how he would manage the grooming today. The scars on his muzzle is a reminder of the time when he was found starving to death with his mouth wired shut. His previous owners not only abused him, but they neglected his diabetes, which caused him to lose 90% of his vision.
Oh, hey, oh. You're okay. He's almost over.
It's hard to imagine anyone doing something like this to a helpless animal, but what's even more surprising is the fact that Charlie is still trusting in humans, especially a stranger, doing strange things to him. Unfortunately, Charlie's story is not unique. He is one of many pets that are found around the world in similar conditions. The community that we have built on this page has given me the ability to give back to pets in need. So far this year, with your help, we have been able to donate $18,000. Starting tomorrow, November 14th, we will be launching Girl with the Dogs merchandise directly on my website. With every purchase, you will get me one step closer to helping more dogs just like Charlie. So thank you so much in advance for all of your support. He had some matting behind his ears, so I'm shaving that out using my 10 blade. And then I brush him out with my Chris Christensen coral brush. He had some matting on his side, so I use my dematter to cut through them and make brushing easier. I clip his nails.
Good boy.
And then I shave out his paw pads, I do some doggy detailing, and of course, I trim up his extreme Grinch feet. I spray him down in our pumpkin spice latte cologne, and this sweet boy is all finished. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and follow. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the Charming Charlie.